You gotta love them. We've used that phrase before. You just gotta love them. If you've had children or watched children when they get about, maybe 2.5, 3 years old, they discover all kinds of interesting things like pushing a chair over to the counter, crawling up on the chair, crawling up on the counter, and getting into the chocolate cream pie. And there they sit, enjoying themselves. When you come in and they give you that look like, what's going on? I'm happy. Or if you've had a pet of some kind, especially, let's just put it in the class of a puppy, because everybody's had puppies, and they're in the house, and you leave, and you come back, and somehow this puppy has gotten into a pillow and ripped the corner of it out, and there's feathers all over the house, and you do a shriek, and the puppy looks at you like, well, hi, how are you doing? You just gotta love them. Do you wonder, when we do all these interesting, strange, silly things, what does God think about all of that? Well, let's look at it from a different standpoint about loving people that do things and when we should love them. How about family? Family, those, you've probably heard of the family, those people that surrounded you, changed your diapers, took care of you, taught you how to drive a car. All those wonderful people out there. You know those people. How about loving them? Well, sure. They've taken care of us. Why not? How about friends? Friends now, that's a different category completely. Now, friends can be part of the family. They can be family and friends. There are some that are just friends. All these people that kind of have your back, that stick up for you when you aren't around. The friends that you have are also those people that can tell you what you're doing wrong, criticize you, and you go there and say, okay, understood. Those people. How about loving them? Well, sure, why not? How about those people that you meet at the supermarket, at Vaughn's or Stater Brothers or Burger King or McDonald's or, I'm getting hungry. Those people, the checkers, the clerks, all of those people that are there, how about loving them? Well, sure, why not? They haven't done anything to really irritate us at all. How about those people that you just pass by every day? Out on the 62, on the highway here, or on the streets, or wherever you are. You're passing all kinds of people. When you're at the post office or the supermarket, you're passing people all the time. Sometimes they even smile a little bit. Love them? Well, sure, why not? They haven't done anything to irritate us at all. Well, what about, let's just shift it just a little bit. How about you're driving along, and I like to use driving examples because I drive all the time. And you're going along nice and peacefully, and all of a sudden somebody just squeezes in front of you, makes you slam on the brakes. Maybe that doesn't happen to you, but
use the horn, can't you? That's what it's for.
Or your exit is coming up, or your street is coming up, and there's this car going 5 miles an hour. And you're thinking, oh, well, I don't want to sit here because I have to get to my appointment and all this. So what do? You take off in the other lane and try and go around. As soon as you try to go around, guess what happens? You all know that. Everybody's smiling. This must have happened to everyone. Love them? Well, let me think about that one for a while. Or how about somebody that, excuse me, or somebody that you find out has been kind of talking behind your back about you and not saying the nicest things. Love them? Well, let me think about that one for a while. How about someone that has just done you a total injustice? Purposely. I'll let you think for a second, because there's probably something coming up in your mind. All kinds of examples are coming up in my mind, but you wouldn't want to hear about my examples, because you have your own. Love them? I don't know. I have to think about that one for a while, you think? Or how about someone that has grouped you into a group and then said some very disparaging words about that group? How about someone like that? Love them? How about someone that has totally said, you are my enemy, I am out to destroy you? Love them? Well, let me think about this for a second. No. And Jesus says to us, you are to love them all. Jesus, what is up with that? Really? I don't know if I can do that. That's really not part of who we are. Maybe it's some kind of tribal instinct. Maybe it's some kind of self-preservation kind of instinct. Maybe it's in our DNA or something. But sometimes it's just almost impossible to do. So what are we to do with this? One thought. When our kids were growing up, they did a few little things that probably weren't the nicest. And we would tell them, we don't like what you have done, but we love you and we will always love you. Loving the person, not necessarily loving what they did. There's a little bit of a start there. I saw a movie a few weeks ago called Hacksaw Ridge. Apparently nobody else saw the movie. I got one. Anyway, it's about a conscientious objector in the military, Second World War. I'm not going to go through all the detail of all the trouble he had getting to be a conscientious objector, and he did not want to touch a gun. And there's all kinds of reasons for it in the movie. Go see the movie. Anyway, they are in, was it Okinawa? I think it's Okinawa. And there's a ridge called, believe it or not, Hacksaw Ridge. Because the American forces were down here. There's a cliff, and up on top are the Japanese. They have netting that people has to climb up just to get up this ridge. Well, the Americans go up, attack, drive the Japanese back, sit tight during the night. In the morning, they are overrun and pushed back over the top of the cliff, except for one. That's the gentleman that's the conscientious objector. He's a medic. He spends his time finding the wounded, dragging them to the edge of the cliff, lowering them down, going back for someone else, dragging them to the cliff, lowering them down, and I think the count came out something like 70 or 80 people or something. He did. Just unbelievable. Well, the interesting thing, why am I talking about this? Because some of the wounded that he brought back were Japanese. And he pulled them back, dropped them down just like anybody else. There's a like story in MASH. You've heard of MASH? Boy, that was affirmative all over the place. There was a same kind of a segment there where this prisoner of war came in, the North Korean, Chinese, I don't remember exactly what, but was wounded. Well, nobody wanted to take care of this person. But Hawkeye said some things and took care of him. Well, what's the premise behind all that? Well, they're human beings. They are human beings no matter what they've done, no matter who they are human beings, created by God. That's what was driving this conscientious objector. That's what was driving the person in MASH, Hawkeye. So does that help you any? Well, let's do something. Let's just flip this over just a little bit. And we've been looking at people that we should love. How about God loving us? When we do all those interesting, not so nice, unloving things, why in the world would God love us? It says in John, "For God so loved the world." There's the gospel. For God so loved the world, not just a little piece of it, not this particular person. God loved the world. God so loved the world that God came here in Jesus Christ as a message for every one of us, the I love you message. Jesus is God's I love you message. God loved us when we were yet enemies. Go look it up in the New Testament. It's in there. God loved us when we were enemies, and God turned us into friends. Thank you. Turned us into friends. Wow. So, now, how can God do that? We don't know. God is God. But it really sets an example out for all of us. All those people that I talked about, all those different categories, should we love all them? What does God say? Yes. Love them. To put it another way, God says, you gotta love them. Amen. Amen.